Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to LEARNin Carlsbad Live. Let's get it going. Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to LEARNin Carlsbad Live. Today is June 15th. It's a Monday. We're kicking off another beautiful summer week here in Carlsbad. My name is Aris, Anagnos, Mr. Carlsbad Real Estate, broker 15 years. We've closed over 120 million in transactions, and we're here to help you live limitless with all things real estate. Got a lot to get in on the show today, guys. I'm going to bring in our special guest, Coach Rue, as always, doing the show with me. How you doing today, my friend?
What's going on? Happy summer.
Happy summer. It was a beautiful weekend in town, right?
It was a beautiful weekend, and I am actually learning how to live in this new reality with my kids in tow, like in the house while I work all week. So pray for me.
They're out for summer, right? Yeah.
Pray for me, man. Pray for me. They're old enough not to be in camps every week and young enough to drive me crazy. So so pray for me, man. How's your week?
It's great. Yeah. Beautiful weekend. Got some work done. Everybody was out on the lagoon over the weekend with the paddle boards and the boats and the fish, the whole 9 yards. So summer is in full swing here. That's for sure.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, I just wanted to say thanks again for being here. As you know, we created Learn Carlsbad Live as part of a bigger mission to really bring in educators like yourself, investors like myself who are investing in the community, and engineers who put it all together. So, we can create you as the voice of Carlsbad. So really excited to have you on another show. For Learn Carlsbad Live, I want to let everybody know that we're still looking for professionals to fill out the seats. So Mr. Carlsbad has a great team of folks to banter with. We're looking for restaurant owners, retail store owners, health and wellness professionals, mortgage brokers, insurance agents, financial advisors. A lot of real estate related people are very much about their local community, but really there's no specific person who fits the bill when it comes to the voice of Carlsbad. So we just want to have it open to anyone. But until we actually fill those slots, we're gonna throw in some educators who are here to support you as well, Aris. So
very excited to have Chris on, who is your 1031 exchange king, and I believe you're in North County too, right, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in Oceanside, right next door to you.
Awesome.
But I absolutely love that area. Love Carlsbad. Love that whole area. Being in North County is just amazing. I'm very grateful to be here. And again, my name is Chris Astler with Exchange Resources. We help investors who have made a gain on their property and don't want to pay the taxes. What happens is when they do a 1031 exchange, they can actually roll over all of their gain into, 1, 2, or 3 more properties so that, they can defer those capital gains taxes and buy more property. What's great about the 1031 exchange is eventually when the investors pass away, the heirs receive a step up in basis and all those taxes are forgiven. So for creating wealth and building a legacy, 1031 exchange does need to be done. And we've been around for almost 30 years.
Awesome. Well, yeah. Well, to further the support, we're going to bring in Casey from Cross Country Mortgage. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Casey.
Of course. Thank you guys. And I can't wait. I'm counting down the days until I'm a Carlsbad resident. But right now I'm Casey Clayton, Cross Country Mortgage, specialize in everything from your first-time home buyer to your seasoned real estate investor looking to grow their portfolio. Right now we're seeing a lot of activity with our buy before you sell product. So for our move-up buyers that don't want to sell their departure residence before they lock in their new home because inventory can be a little tight, we can help them bridge that gap by taking some equity out of their current home and qualifying for their new home before listing that departure residence. So seeing a lot of that right now. Look forward to doing more of it and doing it in Carlsbad too. I mean, there's a lot of equity in those homes right now. So it's a great place to be utilizing that tool.
Cool.
Absolutely. That's a very important thing that you got there for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as you know, if you've been part of Learning Local Live, you know that we really take time to talk about the things that are important to any given community. So as we always do, let's start off with Inside Carlsbad growth and lifestyle. So Aris, what is new, the latest and greatest that's going on with Carlsbad that everyone needs to know?
Yeah, some news came out last week. Interesting situation. We had a gentleman who owns a townhome here in Carlsbad and an HOA go ahead and convert the garage into an ADU so he could get some rental income. His HOA found out about it and they ended up suing him, went to court, whole 9 yards, and the judge did rule in favor of the HOA. They're not going to allow that. And I think there's a variety of reasons why they wouldn't allow that. I just think the utility strain on any of these HOAs, it's not designed for, more residents to take on the utilities there. I think you would get conflicts in parking all over the place, which is already in a lot of areas in Carlsbad kind of at a premium. Where I live, parking is certainly an issue for folks that don't have designated spaces. So yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting thing that someone would try to undertake that. I mean, I get it. Everybody wants to get that mailbox money and having a rental property is a great thing, but I'm not sure that that's the right way to go about it, but we'd love to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I can speak for the panel when we say that we are very investor friendly.
Yeah.
Right? However, I think the reason why we wanted to post this in the quality of life segment is because there is a line that you shouldn't cross. There's a point that you shouldn't. There's a difference between wanting to create more opportunities for investors at the same time, really decline the quality of life for the residents inside the community. Chris, what do you think? What do you say about that?
Well, so I absolutely love Carlsbad, and Carlsbad is a very upscale neighborhood. I mean, you've got the Omni there, you've got the Aviara there, you've got some really high-end resorts there. And, the last thing that I want to see if I lived in Carlsbad is to see my neighbor to the right or left, renting out their garage, because again, it's going to bring in more tenants, the density, it's going to have issues with parking. That's not what I want to see. It's like, being in Beverly Hills and then you got two of your neighbors wanting to get that mailbox money and then renting out their garages. And I don't think that is, that would be good for the community. It's going to ruin the aesthetic appeal of the neighborhood. And hopefully many of the houses that are not in HOAs are not going to be able to turn their garages into ADUs as well. So I agree with that ruling. We have to preserve the beauty of the community and make sure that, when people live there, it's a desirable community and the real estate is going to continue to go up, not go down because it's going to be more densely populated with tenants all over the neighborhood.
Yeah,
so
appreciate that. Casey, you have a quick comment you want to add?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think the ruling's huge, right? Because it sets a precedent, right? All these things we talked about, you guys hit the nail on the head with density, parking, quality of life, where a lot of primary homeowners live. They don't want overcrowded communities. So, one person converting their garage isn't going to be a huge issue, honestly. But now that we have the precedent that you can't, because if it went the other way and they said you could, this now community has half the residents on the street with converted garages because they're like, hey, this is a great idea. That really starts to degrade the quality of life, and all those things we talked about, density, utilities, parking, get significantly worse if the precedent would have went the other direction. And then just a huge PSA to anybody listening. If you're going to make any renovations to your property and you live in an HOA community, reach out to your HOA first and save yourself the headache and the money that this guy just went through.
Yeah. Hey, quick question, Aris. Is that ruling? I know it's that HOA ruling, but will that be a precedent for people who want to get permits when they go to the city to try to convert their garages into ADUs? Are they going to be disallowed from doing that?
No, yeah. So good point, Chris. They're separate issues. This specifically was just addressing within the HOA context. They're actually more pro ADU and junior ADU in Carlsbad when it comes to detached single-family residences. In fact, I think about 6 months or so ago, they actually bumped up the amount of space that you could make in ADU, depending on if it's attached to the house or detached from the house. So you actually get more room, I believe, with the new law in Carlsbad in a single-family home. If it's attached to the house, you can get more square footage and build a bigger unit. But that is just for single family residences. And I think the reason why they're doing that, again, a lot of this stuff goes back to SB 79. And the city has to create more housing in accordance with the state law right now. But let's switch over because I know everybody wants to talk about rates, and there's a lot of news with that. None of it great if you're hoping that they go down. But Casey, you want to share some light what's going on?
Yeah, man, I'd love to. And hey, they're not that bad, man. I mean, we're still right now 20% down, decent credit, primary residence. We're still in the mid sixes. So I mean, when we think about 7s, 8s that we were 2 years ago, not terrible. I know a lot of people were hoping for 5s and lower this year. But, I think what's happening this week is going to set, again, a precedence of what the future is going to look like with rates. So the big news this week, the Fed meeting, is the new chair, Kevin Walsh, is taking over. And this is going to be the first meeting that he reigns as the Fed chair. And he's been very vocal about wanting to lower interest rates, which is good news. Unfortunately, with the war in Iran, inflation scares, the other things that are going on, I think it's unlikely we get any cuts this week. I think the overall expectation are, the Fed rate's going to remain unchanged. But, to see how this goes with him stepping in, his push for lower rates. And also, I think the other big thing that no one's really talking about is what the press conferences are going to look like. So I'll keep this short. But in the past, Jerome Powell was very transparent, and we had a press conference after every Fed meeting. Kevin Walsh has been pretty vocal about wanting to be less transparent and saying that the Fed has been oversharing and giving out too much information under Jerome Powell's watch. And in the past, for those of us that have been doing this a long time, we didn't used to get those press conferences. We used to get them maybe once a quarter, not every meeting. And sometimes we got them even less frequently than that. So seeing what this looks like moving forward is going to be huge for interest rates. Over the past year or so, those press conferences have moved rates a lot more than the actual Fed decision, because the Fed has kind of pre-forecasted their decision ahead of the meeting. So there wasn't a lot of shock to the market. They kind of did what was expected, or the status quo. And then all the investors were trying to read into what the future was going to bring through that press conference. So a lot of changes. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, I still think we're in a good spot, especially if we can get things under control with the war in Iran, with inflation. There is a lot of push to want to bring rates down here in the future.
Well, what's great about it is that it looks like the United States has reached an agreement with Iran, and now, that they're going to be taking the military out, and the Strait of Hormuz is now going to start to be opening. So that's a good sign. It's just going to take a while before it actually starts to trickle in and start to affect the economy, where it's going to affect us in a more positive light. But, that's a good sign that, there's an agreement. Hopefully, everything will be strengthened, and, this war will be behind us, and then we can move forward, and hopefully the economy gets a little bit better. So
it's just got to stick, man. It's got to stick. If it sticks, that's great.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Casey. I know you got to run, brother. So thank you for being on. And
thank you, Casey.
Your
I appreciate you being more punctual than me. I can't believe it's already 1:45, but thanks for having me, guys. And yeah, I'll look forward to seeing you in the future.
You talk a lot, Casey. So
yeah, I'll leave some time for everybody else, man. I can't. This isn't my show.
Great job, Casey.
Giving me the boot. Yeah.
All right. See you guys.
Thank you, Casey.
See ya. All right. So kind of piggybacking off of rates, let's kind of dive into some of our local Carlsbad market stats here, see what's going on. So this is income properties. So these are duplexes, multifamily properties. So those are few and far between right now in Carlsbad. 0 sold in the last week or pending. We do have 2 new that did come on the market. So that's not a lot, just 2, but average asking is 2.1 million for those income properties. Single family homes, some interesting stuff going on here. So we're on the average asking price, we're up almost 100 grand from last month. And their average selling price right now is about 1.9. So that's kind of in line with where they're selling. And we did have 12 sold or accepted an offer last week in Carlsbad. But this is the interesting part. We've had a pretty, lack of inventory. So a shortage, right? We got 28 new homes listed, single family in Carlsbad that are either active or they're coming soon. So about to come on the market. So that's great. I think that's still a big shortage, but it's good to see some more actives there. And then condo townhomes, we have 6 sold and pending last week with accepted offers, 10 more active, and the average asking price right now 1.3, which is a bit of a difference from the average sales price, which for a condo townhome in Carlsbad right now is right around 1.1 million. So those are the way the market stats, guys.
Strange that there's 38 new listings coming in before summer. I thought summer was not exactly the time to sell your house.
With the single, that is typically we want to sell your home right from like February kind of into June and July, and then typically what we see is July is still pretty good, but as you get into August, it kind of starts to creep into the kids going back to school, holiday market, people busy. Not an ideal time to sell, and typically you're going to have higher prices in the spring and early summer. But it is interesting to see that kind of shift where there's more, and I feel like it might be because our spring was a little bit of a delay. It felt like in the amount of homes that were kind of coming on the spring. So maybe this is the kind of makeup for the lack of homes listed we would normally see in the spring. So. Interesting though.
Good. Yeah, I actually feel like people are selling out of necessity too. Just I know it seems to be kind of like just from my own view, but just know people who just started to list in the summer too, which was and it was kind of a surprise. So let's talk about what's happened this.
So just gonna give you guys a couple of examples of some solds over the last week. So this was one sold with our office here at Fairlead Avenue. This is over in Calavera Hills. Beautiful townhomes, 3 beds, 2.5 baths, about 1,500 square feet. Affordable HOA and great location. Calavera Hills is really a great neighborhood in Carlsbad, and you have really ease of access to get to the shops in Carlsbad, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and kind of anywhere that you want to get to in town as well.
Aris, average days on the market for some of these listings, like the townhouses. I mean, depending on the price points, what's average days on the market for some of these properties? Single family homes, condos, townhouses. What's going on with that?
Yeah, so single family homes are moving the fastest right now in Carlsbad. Again, massive shortage, high demand. So those are moving in about 21 days on the market right now, which is pretty fast. Condos and townhomes, a bit more, a bit longer. So those are about 27, 28 days. So still pretty fast. And the demand is there, but a little less demand because of the HOAs, high rates. It just makes it a little, I think, more unaffordable for folks who would otherwise buy those properties. And then for income properties, those do take a bit longer, but they tend to have much higher price points in Carlsbad. We tend to have, multifamily properties, starting at a minimum of 1.5 and then up. So you're really kind of talking about more of a luxury type of purchase. So those, can take anywhere from 40 to 60 days, typically speaking.
And so, Aris, in your opinion, do you think investors are investing in these properties strictly for appreciation rather than cash flow? Because obviously, with the higher prices, you have to put significantly more down. Interest rates are higher. I mean, they may even be a negative, but maybe you think that they're sacrificing the negative, aspects of cash flow for appreciation, so that when it goes up in value, then maybe they can do a 1031 exchange and then buy other properties in maybe another state, after the appreciation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Carlsbad, why you would buy a property in Carlsbad, it is an appreciation market. And typically, our values are going to double every 10 years or so. So, if you can ride that wave for at least 6-7 years, you're going to have some great equity gains. And yeah, you can leverage that, into a 1031. You can also, leverage against the property, use that as a depreciative asset for a lot of great things that you can do. The cash on cash returns can be solid, but they're not going to be, the biggest cash on cash, margins that you're looking at. And it also depends too. I mean, we do have some short-term rentals as well. So that's kind of a different thing too that we're talking about, that those would have a better cash on cash return, but they're pretty regulated, and you need to really be playing by the rules when you're looking at STRs.
Yep. Thank you.
Let's look at some active listings, Aris.
Yeah. So I just kind of want to give you guys some variety. So this is a modular home in a 55 and older community. There's some really great ones right by the beach in Ponto here in Carlsbad. And this one just came on a day or two ago on St. Louis Street. Really, it's turnkey listing. So, definitely recommend anybody, if you're looking for that kind of a property, to go check it out. The thing is, a lot of people don't know with those kind of properties, they tend to be harder to finance. You have to go to specialized lenders for them. And then a lot of times there's a park rent or a space rent, and sometimes even a community fee on top of those space or park rents. Sometimes they're included together. So your monthly can look kind of unattractive after you add in all of the fees. So it just depends on,
I looked at some of those, Aris. I looked at some of those, and fees are going to be anywhere from maybe $2,500 or more.
Right. And then if you have a mortgage on top of that, it can really add up.
But I think that there was other communities where you actually own the land in a community where it's a manufactured home. I forgot what the name of the community is, but one of my friends was telling me about it, where you can actually own the land and have the manufactured home. So it's a little bit more affordable, but you don't have to pay that land lease. You actually own the land. Yeah.
Right.
Let's get through this one last listing, and then we can talk about economic development really quick.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one on Amethyst Way just came on. Beautiful property, and what you see there is more of a standard single family home over in La Costa Viara that we have here in Carlsbad. So it's going to be 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. This property does have some excellent ocean water views as well from the upstairs. So that is definitely going to sell very quickly. And I would imagine probably over asking with the view that they have. So definitely one to check out if you're in the market.
Awesome. Okay. Well, hey, we there's a lot of talking today, which is awesome. But I just want to make sure that we get to the last piece of the show, which is economic development. There's a lot happening in Carlsbad, as you guys know. But Aris, educate us on what the latest and greatest is.
Yeah, so the city is looking at potentially putting in almost 993 units, housing units at the Shops at Carlsbad Mall parking lot. If you haven't been over there, we have this huge parking lot. So there is quite a bit of extra space over there, so I could see why. And then again, a lot of the development you're seeing in Carlsbad has to do with the fact that the state has mandated all of these different communities, Carlsbad included, have to add more housing units. So Carlsbad through 2029, we have to build about 4,000, just under that, housing units here in the community. So the city is trying to comply with that, and this is one of the proposed sites. I think it's going to be a ways out because there's a company that owns that parking lot. So the city leases the land from them. So they are having basically talks on how they could restructure that agreement to where plans for development could move forward right now. But this is sort of the initial beginning of these proposed sites.
Yeah, some of these things take a long time, as you know. But being that I'm very familiar with the mall, I was driving around and I'm like,
yeah,
what necessary? It's like it's never full.
It's a big
right?
parking lot. Yeah.
And on top of that, the mall, I mean, let's face it, it's outdated compared to what other kind of malls that you might see. I mean, most of the malls that you see, or at least that I've gone to, are outdoors. There's a lot of walking. There's a lot of there's a lot more of a quality of life aspect to it, as opposed to just being in a building with AC. So I think it would probably solve a lot of things, including the housing requirement that Carlsbad is
Yeah, I agree. I think it could, on the one hand, I want the community in Carlsbad to not get overdeveloped. But if there's a site that could do less harm, I think this is one that could be better utilized, right? And certainly a lot of the shops, in the mall, there's a good amount of vacant shops in there, so maybe this could help to kind of stabilize that mall for the businesses that are there, because I'm sure the residents would just walk over there, all the time.
Aris, are they going to be tearing down the mall, or are they going to be doing a makeover?
No, yeah. There's these massive parking lots, around the mall. And so that's where these structures would go. And I think something like 400 of them would be affordable housing units too, which is desperately needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Are they going to be mainly townhouses and condos, or are they going to have single family detached homes as well? I
don't think they've gotten that far yet, but I would imagine it'll be a mixture of all types.
Well, it's definitely needed to revitalize the community in that area. It definitely needs a makeover. And I think having brand new developments in that area is definitely going to help the community and help us with the high demand of real estate.
Awesome.
Agreed.
Well, hey, our time is almost up. We almost hit 30 minutes. I think we covered a lot of great information. If you have any questions for Chris or Mr. Carlsbad, the host of LEARNin Carlsbad Live, make sure you comment, and we'll definitely share our information with you. Aris, please do close out the show as you normally do, and
will do. Yeah, thank you guys for being a part of it today. Thank everybody for tuning in. We will be back here next Monday, as always, at the same time. And, make sure if you're getting out in the surf, you're staying safe out there. Was reading some poor kid got swept away by the big surf we had. So just, take caution when you go out there, guys.
Hey, Aris, any networking opportunities on your side that you wanted to mention?
Not right now.
Okay.
You guys have anything?
Nope. I just want to see your band play. Finally.
Yeah. We're gonna have a party.
Is it at the Belly Up or something that you were mentioning?
Yeah. Belly Up in September. So
in September.
we'll announce it, on the show once I think the tickets are available. So
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you finally play.
yeah, it'll be a good time.
That's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be awesome.
Fantastic. Great.
Well,
Thank you,
you
Aris.
guys. I really appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Have a great day.